All right. Hello. Hello. I'm Lee. Going to continue reading Genesis. Left off with chapter 7 yesterday. Unfortunately, on the Dead Sea Scrolls here, the last chapter is 6, and then the next is chapter 12. So there's a big gap. We can look over here, chapter 6 in the Dead Sea Scrolls Bible. And then, chapter 8. Huh. No 12. What? That's interesting. Okay, so over here on the Dead Sea Scrolls Bible, we got chapter 8. And then chapter 17. And this website here, we've got chapter 6, and then chapter 7, and 6 and then 12 and then 17. Interesting. I wonder why. Be nice to have a third witness. So, alright, there's that. You got the Targums, you got Enoch, Jubilees. Alright. So we will look at this here, verse 20 in the Dead Sea Scrolls Bible. Alright, chapter 8, Genesis. And Yahuwah remembered Noah, and all the wild beasts, and all the cattle, and all the birds, and all the reptiles that creep, as many as were with him in the ark. And Yahuwah brought a wind upon the earth, and the waters stayed, and the fountains of the deep were closed up, and the floodgates of heaven, and the rain from heaven was withheld, and the water subsided, and went off the earth. And after 150 days the water was diminished, and the ark rested in the 7th month, on the 27th day of the month, on the mountains of Ararat. Mountains of Ararat. And the water continued to decrease until the 10th month, and in the 10th month, on the 1st day of the month, the heads of the mountains were seen. And it came to pass after 40 days, Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made, and he sent forth a raven, and it went forth and returned not until the water was dried from off the earth. And he sent a dove after it to see if the water had ceased from off the earth. And the dove, not having found rest for her feet, returned to him into the ark, because the water was on all the face of the earth. And he stretched out his hand, and took her, and brought her to himself into the ark. And having waited yet 7 other days, he again sent forth the dove from the ark. And the dove returned to him in the evening, and had a leaf of olive, a sprig, in her mouth. And Noah knew that the water had ceased from off the earth. And having waited yet 7 other days, he again sent forth the dove, and she did not return to him again any more. And it came to pass in the 601st year of the life of Noah, in the 1st month, on the 1st day of the month, the water subsided from off the earth. And Noah opened the covering of the ark which he had made, and when he saw that the water had subsided from the face of the earth, and in the 2nd month the earth was dried on the 27th day of the month. And Yahuwah Elohim spoke to Noah, saying, Come out from the ark, thou and thy wife, and thy sons wives with thee, and all the wild beasts, as many as are with thee, and all flesh, both of birds and beasts, and every reptile moving upon the earth. Bring forth with thee, and increase ye, and multiply upon the earth. And Noah came forth, and his wife, and his sons wives with him, and all the wild beasts, and all the cattle, and every bird, and every reptile creeping upon the earth after their kind, came forth out of the ark. Verse 20. And Noah built an altar to Yahuwah, and took of all clean beasts, and of all clean birds, and offered a whole burnt offering upon the altar. And Yahuwah Elohim smelled a smell of sweetness, and Yahuwah Elohim, having considered, said, I will not any more curse the earth because of the works of men, because the imagination of man is intently bent upon evil things from his youth. I will not therefore any more smite all living flesh as I have done. All the days of the earth, seed and harvest, cold and heat, summer and spring, shall not cease by day or night. So we're going to look over here, and that is interesting. They got a fragment here in the Dead Sea Scrolls Bible on Google Play Store, but on the Dead Sea Scrolls Bible, DSSEnglishBible.com, they're missing chapter 8. That is odd. So it's really the first time I've read a little bit of this. I read this entire thing. I had the book. Let me show you. This whole thing. Get resituated here. This whole thing I've read. I don't agree with everything in it, but that's the translation, and that's what I got pulled up on the screen here, Google Play Store. But yeah, I don't agree with just about anything. I compare everything. But yeah, that there, and that's the only book that I have, paper book, that has the books of the Bible. The other translations of the Dead Sea Scrolls, the books I have are the non-biblical parts of, well, not included in our Bible. They're biblical, but not included in our Bible part. But let's see, and chapter 8:20, and Noah built an altar to Yahuwah and took of every clean beast and every clean bird, and offered burnt offerings on the altar, and Yahuwah smelled the pleasing aroma, and Yahuwah said in his heart, I will never again curse the ground because of man, for the inclination of man's heart is evil from his youth, neither will I again destroy every living thing as I have done. And that pretty much matches. Smell the sweet say, having considered, I will not curse the earth anymore. Yeah, never again curse the ground. Yep. Neither will I again destroy every living thing as I have done. So, pretty much don't have anything there. Yeah, and in the Hebrew, the Old Testament for the KJV is translated out of Hebrew. You got Noah, and the Old Testament from the Greek Septuagint is translated out of the Hebrew, but it's the Greek it's Hebrew to Greek to English. So this is translated out of Greek. So it's Noah. That's why I just say Noah. So chapter 9, and Yahuwah blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, increase and multiply, fill the earth and have dominion over it. And the dread and the fear of you shall be upon all the wild beasts of the earth, on all the birds of the sky, and on all things moving upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea. I have placed them under your power, and every reptile which is living shall be to you for meat. I have given all things to you as green herbs, but the flesh with the blood of life you shall not eat, for your blood of your lives will I require at the hand of all wild beasts, and I will require the life of man at the hand of his brother man. He that sheds man's blood, instead of that blood shall his own be shed. For in the image of Yahuwah I made man, but do you increase and multiply, and fill the earth, and have dominion over it. And Yahuwah spoke to Noah, and to his sons with him, saying, and behold, I establish my covenant with you, and with your seed after you, and with every living creature with you, of birds and of beasts, and with all the beasts of the earth, as many as are with you, of all that come out of the ark. And I will establish my covenant with you, and all flesh shall not any more die by the water of the flood, and there shall be no more be a flood of water to destroy all the earth. And Yahuwah Elohim said to Noah, this is the sign of the covenant which I set between me and you, and between every living creature which is with you for perpetual generations. And the reason I say Yahuwah Elohim there My daughter found this in the back of the scriptures. I don't know if you can see it or not, but if you look in the back, it's my old KJV. And you look at the bottom. I don't know if I can get it up there. Look at the bottom. Get it up there where you can see it. Yahuwah, Covenant God of Israel, original Hebrew name YHWH, according to Jewish custom, because of reverence for the divine name, was not to be spoken, Hogwash. So the Hebrew words for Lord and God were substituted. Wherever the words Lord and God appear in large and small capital letters, the original Hebrew reads YHWH. That's the reason I don't do their Lord God crap. I'm not Jewish. It's hogwash. If his name was in the original scriptures, they have no right to take it out. They didn't write the scriptures. I don't care if they're Jewish, giraffe, whatever. So, see, Lord God, Yahuwah. Elohim is just God. So, he is Yahuwah. Lord of Lords, King of Kings, Most High, perpetual generations. I set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a sign of covenant between me and the earth. It shall be when I gather clouds upon the earth. That Bible's about 30-something years old. I got it when I was a little boy. My parents got it for me. That my bow shall be seen in the cloud, and I will remember my covenant which is between me and you, and between every living soul and all flesh. And there shall be no longer be water for a deluge, so as to blot out all flesh. And my bow shall be in the cloud, and I will look to remember the everlasting covenant between me and the earth, and between every living thing, every living soul and all flesh which is upon the earth. And Yahuwah said to Noah, this is the sign of the covenant which I have made between me and all flesh which is upon the earth. Now the sons of Noah which came out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And Ham was the father of Canaan. Very important. That's the reason they add that there. These are the three are the sons of Noah, and of these were men scattered over all the face of the earth, And Noah began to be a husbandman, and he planted a vineyard. So anybody that wants to be a racist, we all came from Noah. I don't care if you're black, red, purple, white, it don't matter. Yellow, blue, Noah. There you go. So quit being racist and an idiot. And he drank of the wine and was drunk and was naked in his house. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and he went out and told his brothers, with two brothers without. And Shem and Japheth, having taken a garment, put it on both of their backs, and went backwards, and covered the nakedness of their father. And their face was backward, and they saw not the nakedness of their father. And Noah recovered from the wine, and knew all that his younger son had done to him. And he said, cursed be the servant Canaan, a slave shall he be to his brethren. So, yeah, it's like Ham saw the nakedness of his father, and he went out and told his two brothers, so he's making fun of his daddy. So Noah cursed Canaan. Canaan, a slave shall he be to his brethren. Who's his brethren? These three are the sons of Noah, of which men are scattered over the whole earth, over all the earth. Canaan, servant to his brethren. And he said, blessed be Yahuwah Elohim of Shem, and Canaan shall be his bondservant. May Yahuwah make room for Japheth, and let him dwell in the habitations of Shem, and let Canaan be his servant. If you look in Jubilees, the north was given to Japheth, the cold area, what people come from cold areas. My lineage comes from Britain, cold, white. Ham got the south, the hot area. Where's that at? One place is Africa. And Shem got the middle, neither cold nor hot. So you look at the Middle East. And the Jewish people there are not Middle Eastern, Arabic, Iranian. They're white. They are Japheth. Japheth shall dwell in the habitations of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. So Canaan came from Ham, generational curse. Quit blaming everybody else. And Noah lived after the flood 350 years, and all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. So now, chapter 10, Genesis chapter 10. Now these are the generations of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and sons were born to them after the flood. Oh yeah, I want to go back and I want to look at, here is the account in Jubilees. He opened it gives a lot more details because Genesis is kind of like a companion book for Jubilees. Jubilees gives a lot more details. He opened 7 floodgates of heaven. And this is Jubilees chapter 6, I think. No. Let me see what chapter it is so people will know. It's 5. Alright. Jubilees chapter 5, verse 24, 7 floodgates of heaven. The ark went and rested on the top of Mount Lubar, one of the mountains of Ararat. Look at that. And on the new moon, the 4th month, let's see, floodgates, water began to descend into the deep below. Tops of mountains were seen. So the ark rested on Lubar first. Then, new moon the 10th month, the tops of the mountains were seen. In the new moon the 1st month, the earth became visible. So this mountain right here that it rested on has to be one of the highest mountains on earth. It's got to be, because this happens, and then the rest of the mountains are seen. If it's a lower mountain, you're already going to see more mountains. And then the rest of the earth became visible. So you're looking for one of the highest mountains on earth, is where he landed at. In the 5th week, and matter of fact, I'll just look it up here. Highest mountain on what we got? I would say Everest. Yep. List of the highest mountains on earth. And sorry, I gotta get it zooming in here. All right. Where's it at? There we go. All right. World's highest peaks. Mount Everest. Way up there. 8,000 feet. feet. So yeah. Now, where's it at? Yep. I'll see where the, yeah, let's see. That's mountain in. Ararat. So you got Mount Ararat in Turkey. They call it Ararat. The elevation is 5,000 feet, or 6,000 feet. That's not right. 16,000 feet. Is it? Shouldn't that be listed? Elevation 5,000 meters or 16,000 feet. And this one is 8,000 meters or 29,000 feet. Okay. So I like Ron Wyatt, and I don't think he had the Book of Jubilees. So, but unfortunately, it looks like you're wrong. That is not the Ark. Mount Everest. Way higher. And Mount Ararat, you see all these mountains here? 29,000, 24,000. All these mountains that are way, way, way higher than Ararat. And that's like 108 mountains. He didn't find the Ark in Turkey. Negatory. So you either believe Scripture or you believe man. I'll go with Scripture. So, and the book of Maccabees is junk. The waters disappeared from above the earth. 27th thereof, he opened the ark. Now, he could have found the Ark of the Covenant and all that stuff. I don't know. But definitely didn't find the Noah's Ark. Unless it was on Mount Everest and somehow it got to Turkey. On the 27th thereof, he opened the ark, sent forth from it beast, which I doubt. Oh, the abysses were open. This gives chapter 6 of Jubilees. Noah made atonement for the earth. Tells you what he made atonement with. Flesh with the life blood thereof you shall not eat, for the life of all flesh is in the blood, lest the blood of your lives be required. That matches Genesis. Yep, he told him to go and multiply and increase on the earth. On this account he spake to thee that thou shouldst make a covenant with the children of Israel this month upon the mountain with an oath that thou shouldst sprinkle blood upon them because of all the words of the covenant which Yahuwah made with them forever. That's why Moses sprinkled blood on them, and Moses wrote Jubilees. This is the testimony written concerning you should observe it continually. Eat no bloods. Eat no blood. And for law forever. Yep. So see, it gives more detail. A lot more about not eating blood. He set his bow in the cloud for eternal covenant. For this reason is ordained and written on the heavenly tablets. They should celebrate the Feast of Weeks in this month once a year to renew covenant. This whole festival was celebrated in heaven from the day of creation till the days of Noah, 26 Jubilees and 5 weeks of years. And Noah and his sons observed it for 7 Jubilees and 1 week of years till the day of Noah's death. And from the day of Noah's death, his sons did away with it until the days of Abraham, and they ate blood. But Abraham observed it, and Isaac and Jacob and his children observed it to thy days, and the days the children of Israel forgot it till you have celebrated anew on this mountain. So you can celebrate the Feast of Weeks. And do thou command the children of Israel to observe this festival in all their generations for a commandment unto them one day in the year. In this month they shall celebrate the festival. For it is the feast of weeks and the feast of first fruits. This feast is twofold in a double nature, according to what is written and engraven concerning it, celebrated. So Noah observed it, Abraham observed it, Isaac and Jacob observed it, Israel observed it. For I have written in the book of the first law, in that which I have written for thee, that thou shouldst celebrate it in its season one day in the year, and I explained to thee its sacrifices, celebrate throughout generation. The Messiahs are sacrifice, don't need that. First month, days of remembrance are the first month, fourth month, seventh month, 10th month. The four divisions of the year. These are written and ordained as a testimony forever. Noah ordained them for himself as feasts for the generations forever, so that they have become thereby a memorial unto him. First month, he was bidden to make himself an ark. On that day, the earth became dry. He opened the ark, saw the earth. And fourth month, the mouths of the deeps of the abyss were closed, and on the seventh month, all the mouths of the abyss of the earth were opened. The waters began to descend into them. In the 10th month, the tops of the mountains were seen, and Noah was glad. And on this account he ordained them for himself as feasts for a memorial forever, and thus are they ordained. So he cursed Canaan, and he ordained feast. Noah ordained feast. And they placed them on the heavenly tablets. Okay, so now they placed Noah's feast on the heavenly tablets. Each had 13 weeks from one to another, passed a memorial from the first to the second, second to the third, third to the fourth, and all the days of the commandment will be 250 weeks of days, 52 weeks. These will make the entire year complete, 364 days, thus engraven and ordained on the heavenly tables. There is no neglecting this commandment from a single year or year to year. Command children of Israel to observe the years according to this reckoning, 364 days. These will constitute a complete year. They will not disturb its time from its days and from its feast, for everything will fall out in them according to their testimony, and they will not leave out any day nor disturb any feast. But if they do neglect and do not observe them according to his commandment, then they will disturb all the seasons, and the years will be dislodged from this order, and they will disturb the seasons, and the years will be dislodged. They will neglect their ordinances, and the children of Israel will forget, will not find the path of the years, will forget the new moons, or new months, and seasons, Sabbaths. They will go wrong to all the order of the years. See. For I know from henceforth shall I declare it unto thee, it is not of my own devising, for the book lieth written before me, and on the heavenly tables the division of days is ordained, lest they forget the feast of the covenant, and walk according to the feast of the Gentiles, Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, after their error and after their ignorance. For there will be those who will surely make observations of the moon, how it disturbeth the seasons, and cometh in from year to year 10 days too soon. So if you set your calendar by the moon, it's wrong. For this reason the years will come upon them when they disturb the order, and make an abominable day the day of a testimony, and an unclean day a feast day. Okay? If we don't have the right calendar, there is no reason to do that. And they will confound all the days, the holy with the unclean with the holy, for they will go wrong as to months, Sabbaths, feasts, and jubilees. See, they will not make the year 364 days only. For this reason, they will go wrong to new moons, Sabbaths, seasons, festivals. They will eat all kinds of blood with all kinds of flesh. That's why I don't do the feast. I don't have the correct calendar. Alright, so Noah planted vines on this, Jubilees chapter 7. Lubar, one of the Ararat mountains. Yeah, so he placed there. See, he slept. He was uncovered in his tent. Ham saw his father naked, went forth and told his brothers. Shem took his garment and arose. He and Japheth placed the garment on his shoulders, covered the shame of their father. Noah said, Cursed be Canaan, and enslaved servant shall he be unto his brother. And he blessed Shem, and blessed be Yahuwah Elohim of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. Yahuwah shall enlarge Japheth. I mean, you know who Japheth is. They're all across the world. And Yahuwah shall dwell in the dwelling of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. And Ham knew that his father had cursed his younger son. He was displeased that he cursed his son. He parted from his father, he and his sons with him, Cush and Mitzrayim, and put in Canaan. He built himself a city and called it by the name of his wife Nalat Tamuk. Japheth saw it, became envious of his brother, and he built for himself a city and called its name after the name of his wife Adatonese. And Shem dwelt with his father, and he built a city close to his father on the mountain. He too called its name after the name of his wife, Sedek Telabab. And behold, these 3 cities are near Mount Lubar. And Noah began to teach his son ordinances, commandments, and all the judgments he knew, and exhorted them to observe righteousness. The commandments didn't just come with Moses. They knew to cover the shame of their flesh, to bless their Creator, to honor father and mother, to love their neighbor as themselves. New Testament. Honor your father and mother. New Testament. Guard their souls from fornication and uncleanness and all iniquity. What the Messiah said, away from me, I never knew you, you who practice iniquity. If I can find the verse, Matthew something. 7:23. I think it's 7:23. Did I finally remember it? Matthew 7. I hope so. Yes. Alright, Matthew 7:23. And then I'll profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. Most people see iniquity and go, okay, iniquity. What's that? Go down here, G458. In the Greek is anomia, and it means, see, anomia. It is iniquity, unrighteousness, transgress the law, transgression of the law, the condition of without law, lawlessness, being ignorant of it because of violating it, contempt and violation of the law. The law. So, for owing to these 3 things came the flood upon the earth, namely owing to fornication, wherein the watchers against the law, the watchers, the fallen angels, against the law of their ordinances, went a whoring after the daughters of men, and took themselves wives of all which they chose. They made the beginning of uncleanness. They begat Nephilim, and they devoured each other. The giant slew the Nephil, and Nephil slew the Eljo, and the Eljo mankind, and one man another. And everyone sold himself to work lawlessness, and to shed much blood, and the earth was filled with lawlessness. And after this they sinned against the beasts and the birds, and all that moveth and walketh on the earth, and much blood was shed on the earth, and every imagination and desire of men imagined vanity of evil continually. And and Yahuwah destroyed everything from off the face of the earth, because of the wickedness of their deeds, and because of the blood which they had shed in the midst of the earth, he destroyed everything. Let's see. He talks to his sons, everything entered into with us into the ark. Behold, I see your works before me, that you do not walk in righteousness, for in the path of destruction you have begun to walk, and you are parting one from another, and are envious one of another. And so it cometh that you are not in harmony, my sons, with each with his brother. For I see and behold, the demons have begun their seductions against you and against your children. And now I fear on your behalf that after my death you will shed the blood of men upon the earth, and that you too will be destroyed from the face of the earth. For whosoever sheddeth men's blood, whosoever eateth the blood of any flesh, will all be destroyed from the earth. There will not be left any man that eateth blood, or that sheddeth blood of man on the earth, nor will there be left to him any seed or descendants living under heaven, for into Sheol will they go, and into the place of condemnation will they descend, and into the darkness of the deep will they be removed by a violent death. So, it goes into great detail to expand on Genesis. Well, I think it's the book before Genesis. So you got that. For 3 years, fruit of everything that is eaten will not be gathered. In the 4th year, its fruit will be accounted holy. They will offer the first fruits. So they had the law before. For thus did Enoch, the father of your father, command Methuselah, his son, and Methuselah, his son Lamech, and Lamech commanded me all the things which his fathers commanded him. And I will give you commandment, my sons, as Enoch commanded his son in the first Jubilees while still living. The 7th in his generation he commanded and testified to his sons and to his sons' sons until the day of his death. Enoch didn't die, he was taken. So, gives you a little bit of, a lot more info. So, after the flood, the sons of Japheth, Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Elisha, Tobel, Masak, and Thyras. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz. Sons of Japheth, Ashkenaz. Oh, look at that. Ashkenaz, son of Japheth, the northern cold area, the white people, Ashkenazi Jews. So that's who they are. And Rephath and Thorgama and the sons of Jovan, Elisha and Tharsis, Scythians, Rhodians. From these were the islands of the Gentiles, divided in their land, each according to his tongue, and their tribes, and in their nations. Gentiles, Ashkenaz. And the sons of Ham, Cush, Mitzrayim, Pud, Canaan, sons of Cush, Sabah, and Evelah, and Sabatha, and Regma, and Bathica, and the sons of Regma, Sabah, and Dedan. And Cush begot Nimrod, or Nibrod, these names in the Greek. He began to be a giant upon the earth. Genesis chapter 10. See, Ham, Cush, Mitzrayim, Phut, Canaan, Nimrod, he began to be a mighty one on the earth. So KJV says mighty one. Here it says giant. He was a giant hunter before Yahuwah. Therefore they say Nimrod, the giant hunter before Yahuwah. And if you look in I think they've taken some pieces out of the Dead Sea Scrolls here. Nimrod. Noah divides the inheritance of his sons. That's all in Jubilees. I'm not going to go through all that here. Yep. Shem inherited the Garden of Eden. The middle. Yep. See, it tells you it's plain and simple. See, the land which came forth for Japheth, his sons, is a portion of his inheritance, which he should possess for himself and his sons for their generations forever. 5 great islands and a great land in the north, but it is cold. So just look at your map. Look at the temperatures. And the land of Ham is hot. And the land of Shem is neither hot nor cold, but it is blended of cold and heat. And you look at, it tells you the south. But you can pretty much tell from that what's cold, what's hot, and what's neither cold nor hot. There you go. You know how the land was divided. And Cush, Mitzrayim is Egypt from Ham. That's another marker there. It tells you And thus the sons of Noah divided it into their sons in the presence of Noah their father, and he bound them all by an oath, imprecating a curse on every one that sought to seize a portion which had not fallen to him by his lot. See? Till the day of judgment. Unclean wickedness. Yep. That still stands. And this is the evil spirits of the Nephilim, the disembodied spirits. Noah wanted Yahuwah to take them all, and he let a 10th part remain of them. That's where we get evil spirits at. He explained to Noah the medicines of diseases, how he might heal them with the herbs of the earth, and he wrote them down in a book, and he gave them to, let's see, all that he had written, he gave it to Shem. And you look at who uses herbs to heal people. The Orient, Asian people, who descended from Shem. I can tell you right there. And Noah slept with his fathers. So if they're not righteous, they get attacked by demons and they get sick. They need herbs. So he knew for great wickedness of the sons of men. Enoch's office was ordained for a testimony to the generations of the world, so that he should recount all the deeds of generation unto generation till the day of judgment. And Tower of Babel. Building of the Tower of Babel. And Shinar overthrow. Nimrod at. Yep, he dispersed them. Yep, Ham went to the land which he was to occupy, in the land of the south. Canaan saw Lebanon. He went not to the land, so Canaan got another curse, because he didn't go into the land of his inheritance. He was supposed to go into Africa. And so he dwell not in the dwelling of Shem, for Shem and his sons did it come by their lot. Cursed art thou, and cursed shalt thou be beyond all the sons of Noah, by the curse which we bound ourselves by an oath in the presence of the holy judge, the presence of Noah our father. But Canaan did not hearken unto them, and dwelt in the land of Lebanon. See, that's why he gave it to Abraham, and he took it back from Canaan. They weren't supposed to take it in the first place. And Madai did the same thing. He took Madai saw the land of the sea, it did not please him. He begged a portion from Elam and Ashur, and Arphaxad, his wife's brother, dwelt in the land of Media. Which, say, he begged for a portion, so he got a portion from his brother. So it's not exactly as severe as what Canaan did, but it's still under Japheth's territory, so he's okay. And I don't see Nimrod. I thought Nimrod was in here. Let me take a little break. Be right back. Alright. Alright, so we got, yep, they made for themselves molten images. This is Chaldees. We're about to be on that in Genesis. They made themselves molten images. They worshipped each the idol. The molten image which they had made for themselves, they began to make graven images, unclean simulacra, and the malignant spirits assisted and seduced them into committing transgression and uncleanness. And the prince Mastema exerted himself to do all this, and he sent forth other spirits, those which were put under his hand, to do all manner of wrong and sin, and all manner of transgression, to corrupt and destroy, and to shed blood upon the earth. So, Satan and his malignant spirits. So it says Nimrod, a giant hunter before Yahuwah, and the beginning of his kingdom was Babylon, and Erech, and Arcad, and Chelan, in the land of Shinar. Out of the land came Assur, and built Nineveh, in the city Roboth, and Chalak, and Dace, between Nineveh and Chalak. This is the great city. And Misraim begot Ludum, and the Neptalim, and Inamitim, and Labim, and Petrus, and Sanim, and Hasmonim, whence came forth the Philistines, and Gaphtorim, and Canaan begot Sidon his firstborn, and the Chittite, and the Jebusite, and the Amorite, and the Girgashite, and the Evite, and the Urukite, and the Assamite, and the Aradian, and the Sumerian, and the Amathite. And after this the tribes of the Canaanites were dispersed. So you see these Canaanites here, the ones that get destroyed when Israel comes back. See, it's because of their father. That's why. And it's interesting that you got Girgashite here, and you look in Genesis in the KJV. Canaan got Sidon. Oh, it is in there. First, Sidon, Heth, Jebusite, Amorite, Girgashite, Hivite, Archite, Sinite, Arvadite, Zemarite, Hamathite. Yeah. So, the descendants of Canaan. So it is in there. Interesting. And the boundaries of the Canaanites were from Sidon till one comes to Gerara, and Gaza till one comes to Sodom and Gomorrah. Canaanites, Sodom and Gomorrah. Adamah and Seboim, as far as the Dasa. These were the sons of Ham in their tribes according to their tongues, in their countries, and in their nations. And Shem himself also were children. To Shem himself also were children born, the father of all the sons of Hebrew, the brother of Japheth the elder, sons of Shem, Elam, and Ashur, and Arphaxad, and Lud, and Aram, and Canaan. And the sons of Aram, Uz, and Ul, and Gater, and Mosach. And Arphaxad begot Canaan, and Canaan begot Selah, and Selah begot Heber. And Heber were born two sons, the name of one Peleg, because in his days the earth was divided, and the name of his brother Joktan. And Joktan begot Elmadad, and Saleph, and Sarmoth, and Jorach, and Oderah, and Abel, and Dekla, and Eval, and Abimael, and Sabah, and Ophir, and Havilah, and Jobab. All these were the sons of Joktan, and their dwelling was from Mas till one comes to Sepharah, a mountain of the east. These were the sons of Shem and their tribes according to their tongues, in their countries, in their nations. These are the tribes of Noah according to their generations, according to the nations of them were the islands of the Gentiles scattered over the earth after the flood. So, and if you want to learn more about red muffin. If you want to learn more about these right here, So I'm no expert on it, but I know who does know. And Ophir, Havilah, Mount Safar, Mount of the East. If you want to know more about that, check out this right here, Solomon's Treasure. Ophir, Philippines. If you look at, let's see if I can pull it up for you. They do extensive research and they are right on it. Let me pull it up. Yep, they are dead on it. And they don't want to come up. It is, just go to the website. Go to their website and come down here. They got a coffee table book. I got all their books, so you click on here. There you go. So you can get that. So go over here to the link, Ophir Institute, and you can go through their research, and they do a very good job. There you go. You can get on here for free. You don't have to buy it. So you want to just get on here for free and go through it. See, they got the maps. Yep. Go through here. Pretty much see Ophir, Land of the East. Zoom in a little bit. Okay. Ophir. And so King Solomon. Jock 10, Genesis 10. Anyways, research that. That's very helpful. So chapter 11. And all the earth was one lip, and there was one language to all. And it came to pass as they moved from the east, they found a plain in the land of Shinar. And they dwelt there, and a man said to his neighbor, Come, let us make bricks and bake them with fire. And the brick was to them for stone, and their mortar was bitumen. And they said, Come, let us build to ourselves a city and tower, whose top shall be to heaven. And let us make to ourselves a name, before we are scattered abroad upon the face of all the earth. And Yahuwah came down to see the city and the tower which the sons of men built. And Yahuwah said, Behold, there is one race and one lip of all, and they have begun to do this. Now nothing shall fail from them of all that they may have undertaken to do. Come, and having gone down, let us confound their tongue, that they may not understand each the voice of his neighbor. And Yahuwah scattered them thence over the face of all the earth. And they left off building the city and the tower. On this account its name was called Confusion, because there Yahuwah confounded the languages of all the earth, and thence Yahuwah scattered them upon the face of all the earth. And these are the generations of Shem. And Shem was 100 years old when he begat Arphaxad, the second year after the flood. And Shem lived after he had begotten Arphaxad 500 years, and begat sons and daughters, and died. And Arphaxad lived 135 years, and begot Canaan. And Arphaxad lived after he begotten Canaan 400 years, and begot sons and daughters, and died. And Canaan lived 130 years, and begot Selah. And Canaan lived after he had begotten Selah 330 years, and begot sons and daughters, and died. And Selah lived 130 years, and begot Heber. And Selah lived after he had begotten Heber 330 years, and begot sons and daughters, and died. And Heber lived 130 years, and begot 134 years, and begot Peleg. And Heber lived after he had begotten Peleg 270 years, and begot sons and daughters, and died. So you can see how their lifespan is decreasing. And Peleg lived 130 years and begot Ragu. And Peleg lived after he had begotten Ragu 209 years and begot sons and daughters and died. And Ragu, however you pronounce that, lived 132 years and begot Sirach. And Ragu lived after he had begotten Sirach 207 years and begot sons and daughters and died. And Sirach lived 130 years and begot Nachor. And Sirach lived after he had begotten Nachor 200 years and begot sons and daughters and died. And Nachor lived 179 years and begot Thara. And Nachor lived after he had begotten Thara 175 years and begot sons and daughters and died. And Thara lived 70 years and begot Abraham, and Nachor and Haran. And these are the generations of Thara. Thara begot Abram and Nachor and Haran begot Lot. And Haram died in the presence of Thara his father in the land in which he was born in the country of the Chaldees. Let me stop there. Verse 29. Well, I'll finish reading. And Abram and Nachor took to themselves wives. The name of the wife of Abram was Sarah, and the name of the wife of Nachor, Milcah, daughter of Haran, and he was the father of Milcah, the father of Jeshka. And Sarah was barren and did not bear children. And Thara took Abram his son, and Lot the son of Haran, the son of his son, and Sarah his daughter-in-law, the wife of Abram his son, and led them forth out of the land of Chaldees to go into the land of Canaan. And they came as far as Haran, and he dwelt there. And all the days of Terah in the land of Canaan were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran. That Greek translation, man, it's hard to pronounce those names. So we're going to look at, we don't have a Dead Sea Scroll here till chapter 12, as far as they tell us. So you got generations of Shem. He was 100 years old when he begot Arphaxad, and he lived 500 years and begot sons and daughters and died. So let's check that. Genesis 11. Genesis 11. Shem, 100 years old. 500 years and died. Go to Jubilees. Nope, not Enoch. Jubilees. And so you've got sons of Noah began to war on each other. The beginning of kingdoms. Nation against nation, city against city. Teach their sons war. Self male and female slaves. And yeah, see, all that's wickedness. Don't go to war. Let's see. Where's Shem at? Abram's knowledge. The Reu's a little bit down. Yep, Reu is after Peleg, Eber, Shelah, Arphaxad. Pretty sure it's in there. Reu. So you got that, and then you go down here. So the only genealogy you have is a piece here, 1681. Ru took himself a wife. Her name was Orah, the daughter of Ur, the son of Kesed. She bare him a son and called his name Sarah. In the 7th year of this week in this jubilee. Her name was Milcah, the daughter of Keber. She bare him Nachor. So you got Nachor, 1744, 1687. Minus 16, 57 years. Between Ur between his birth and Nahor being born. Nine and 29 years and begot Terah. Serug lived 30 years and begot Nahor. That's not what Jubilee says. So, Sarah in the 7th year of this week in this Jubilee, 1687. 35th Jubilee. So you got 35th Jubilee, 34 times 49 equals 1666. And the 7th year of the 3rd week. So that'd be 1421 plus 21, 1687. Sarah is born 1687. And 17, Sarah, father and mother, worshipped idols, took himself a wife in the 36th Jubilee, in the 5th week, the 1st year thereof. Her name was Milcah, and bare him Nahor, 1744. So 1744, and the 37th Jubilee, the 6th week, daughter of Nestag, she bare him Terah. Terah 16 years later. So that's 1687, 1744 minus 1687, 57 years old. And if you look here, Serug lived 30 years. Serug was 57. So they cut it down. He was older. And then "16 years later, Terah was born. Nahor lived 29 years and begot Terah. They got the genealogy all jacked up. And see, the Septuagint says 130 years and begot Nahor. So they add 100 years to the already screwed up account of KJV, 30 years. I mean, why can't you people just be honest? Like, oh, it's like, oh man. One other thing I want to point out, in the KJV, you've got Arphaxad, Selah, Eber. Septuagint, you've got Arphaxad, Canaan, Selah. This is a different Canaan. The Canaan that came from Ham was cursed. This one came from Arphaxad. And when you look over here, where's that? Jubilees. Let's see, Media, Ham. Where's it at? Sure, Canaan's in there. It is he found. Where's it at? It's in Jubilees, I think. Jubilees. After the flood. Where's it at? Sorry, it's taking a little while. I don't think it's in Enoch. Nope, it's in Jubilees. See, Canaan sinned owing to the Watchers. He found the writings of the Watchers. Watchers. Okay, Jubilees chapter 8. We're on 11, we're way off. Okay, there's the genealogy I was looking for. I'll go ahead and show you the Canaan thing here. And Arphaxad took to himself a wife, and she bare him a son in the 3rd year of this week, called his name Canaan. There's Canaan. And son of Arphaxad, not Ham. And he found a writing. He read what's thereon and sinned owing to it, for it contained the teaching of the Watchers, in accordance with how they observed the omens of the sun, moon, and stars. And he wrote it down and said nothing, because he was afraid of Noah, lest he'd be angry with him on account of it. So Arphaxad had Canaan. And if you look at let's see, in Luke, wish I could search the book of Luke. Let's see. Canaan. Luke. Where's the genealogy at? Canaan in the Bible. Okay. View the chapter. So this gives the genealogy of the Messiah, but it goes backwards. So Luke chapter 3, and if you go down through the genealogy all the way back down here, you notice Lamech, Noah, Shem, Arphaxad, Canaan, Shelah, Heber, Peleg. There's Canaan right there. So the Septuagint's got Canaan, the New Testament's got Canaan, Genesis is missing Canaan, Jubilees has got Canaan. There he is right there. And he found the writings of the Watchers. Could be why he's missing from the Hebrew KJV. I don't know. But he's a descendant of Shem. And it says Arphaxad took to himself a wife her in the week 1373. And called his name Canaan. I guess that's 1375. And then Milcah the son of Medad, the son of Japheth, and Shelah, 1432. So 1432 to 1375. Canaan would be 57. So Canaan, not in here. Septuagint. Canaan lived 130 years and begat Selah. You crazy people changing scriptures. And yep, so interesting. Chapter 12. Now we have a Dead Sea Scroll fragment here, verse 4, that we can kind of look at. And hey, brother mine, how's it going? Genesis chapter 12. And Yahuwah said to Abram, go forth out of thy land and out of thy kindred and out of the house of thy father, and come into the land which I shall show thee, and I will make thee a great nation. I will bless thee and multiply thy name, or magnify thy name, and thou shalt be blessed. And I will bless those that bless thee, and curse those that curse thee. And in thee shall all the tribes of the earth be blessed. And Abram went as Yahuwah spoke to him, and Lot departed with him. And Abram was 75 years old when he went out of Canaan, or Haran. And Abram took Sarah his wife, and Lot the son of his brother, and all their possessions, as many as they had got, and every soul which they had got in Haran. They went forth to go into the land of Canaan. So Abram went as Yahuwah had told him. Lot went with him. Abraham was, so the KJV and the Septuagint has Abram. Dead Sea Scrolls has Abraham was 75 years old when he departed Haran. Abram took Sarah his wife, Lot his brother's son, all their possessions they had gathered, and the people whom they had acquired in Haran, and they went to go in the land of Canaan. They entered into the land of Canaan. And this here, the scroll does not have enough space for the entire first half of verse 5. And to the land of Canaan. And Abram traversed the land lengthwise as far as the place Shechem to the high oak, and the Canaanites then inhabited the land. And Yahuwah appeared to Abram and said to him, I will give this land to thy seed. And Abram built an altar there to Yahuwah, who appeared to him, and he departed thence to the mountain eastward of Bethel. And there he pitched his tent in Bethel near the sea, and Agag toward the east. And there he built an altar to Yahuwah and called on the name of Yahuwah. So he knew his name. And Abram departed and went and encamped in the wilderness. And there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down to Egypt to sojourn there, because the famine prevailed in the land. And it came to pass, when Abram drew nigh to enter into Egypt, Abram said to Sarah his wife, I know that thou art a fair woman. And if you look at here, one other thing I want to show you. It tells you in Jubilees that the account that you don't get in Genesis, you've got a very detailed account of Abraham. I'm not going to go through all of it here. I'll just highlight a couple of points. And see, Satan sent ravens and birds to devour the seed of the land. And Abram was born. Where's Abram? Abram was born. Yep, Abram was born. And the child began to understand the errors of the earth, all that went astray after graven images and uncleanness. So he began to pray to the Creator of all things. And he rebukes the ravens to get them to not settle, take the seed. And he taught them how to make a vessel to plow, so the ravens couldn't get the seed, so the famine, so they no longer feared the birds. And so he has a dialogue with his father here about the idols, and he ends up Abram rose by night and burned the house of the idols. He burned all that was in the house, and Haran, his brother, was burned in the fire. So, and people read the book of Jasher, it's a completely different account. Jubilees was found in the Dead Sea Scroll. Jasher was not. It says Nimrod threw him into the fire, which is a lie. Jasher's full of lies. But you can see here, Abram burned the house of his father's idols. His brother went in to save him and died in the fire. And he dwelt with his father, and he learned Yahuwah told him to get up and go. And he taught him the language of creation, Hebrew. See, Yahuwah taught him himself the tongue of creation. And he got the books of his fathers written in Hebrew, transcribed them, and studied them 6 rainy months. So he got the books of Enoch, Noah, and now Abram journeyed from Haran, land of Canaan. So it gives you more detail there. And Abram went into Egypt. So you got a lot of detail missing in Genesis that's in Jubilees. And where's that? There we go. It shall come to pass, see, Abram drew nigh to enter into Egypt. Abram said to Sarah his wife, I know that thou art a fair woman. It shall come to pass then that when the Egyptians shall see thee, they shall say, This is his wife, and they shall slay me, but they shall save thee alive. Say therefore, I am his sister, that it may be well with me on account of thee, and my soul shall live because of thee. And it came to pass, when Abram entered into Egypt, the Egyptians having seen his wife, that she was very beautiful, that the princes of Pharaoh saw her, and praised her to Pharaoh, and brought her into the house of Pharaoh. And they treated Abram well on her account, and he had sheep and calves and asses and men servants and woman servants and mules and camels. And Yahuwah afflicted Pharaoh with great and severe afflictions in his house because of Sarah, Abram's wife. And Pharaoh, having called Abram, said, What is this thou hast done to me, that thou didst not tell me that she was thy wife? Wherefore didst thou say, She is my sister? And I took her for a wife to myself, and now behold, thy wife is before thee. Take her and go quickly away. And Pharaoh gave charge to men concerning Abram to join in sending him forward, and his wife, and all that he had. And Abram went up out of Egypt. It's chapter 13. If you look at, see, it gives a more detailed account in Jubilees. So you need Jubilees to go with Genesis. That's the way Moses wrote it. So it came to pass. And he didn't lie, because Sarah was his half sister. So she was a sister. Pharaoh gave back and brought him back in peace. And chapter 13. So we're 1 hour and 20. Doing good. I don't get to make very many videos during the week, so I try to do it Sabbath, and then I have a little time on Sunday when I'm not doing errands and stuff. So 123. We do chapter 13, I guess. Do one more chapter. And Abram went up out of Egypt, he and his wife, and all that he had, and Lot with him, into the wilderness. And Abram was very rich in cattle and silver and gold, and he went to the place whence he came, into the wilderness as far as Bethel, as far as the place where his tent was before, between Bethel and Agag, to the place of the altar which he built there at first. And Abram there called on the name of Yahuwah. And Lot went out with Abram, had sheep and oxen and tents, and the land was not large enough for them to live together, because their possessions were great, and the land was not large enough for them to live together. And there was a strife between the herdmen of Abram's cattle and the herdmen of Lot's cattle, and the Canaanites and the Perizzites then inhabited the land. And Abram said to Lot, Let there not be a strife between me and thee, and between my herdmen and thy herdmen, for we are brethren. Lo, is not the whole land before thee? Separate thyself from me. If thou goest to the left, I will go to the right, and if thou goest to the right, I will go to the left. And Lot, having lifted up his eyes, observed all the country round about the Jordan, that it was all watered before Yahuwah overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah, as the garden of Yahuwah, and as the land of Egypt, until thou come to Zagorah. And Lot chose for himself all the country round about Jordan, and Lot went from the east, and they were separated each from his brother. And Abram dwelt in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelt in a city of the neighboring people, and pitched his tent in Sodom. But the men of Sodom were evil and exceedingly sinful before Yahuwah. And Yahuwah said to Abraham, after Lot was separated from him, Look up with thine eyes, and behold from the place where thou now art, northward and southward and eastward and seaward. For all the land which thou seest, I will give it to thee and to thy seed forever. And I will make thy seed like the dust of the earth. If anyone is able to number the dust of the earth, then shall thy seed be numbered. Arise and traverse the land, both in the length of it and in the breadth, for to thee will I give it, and to thy seed forever. And Abram, having removed his tent, came and dwelt by the oak of Mamre, which was in Hebron, and he there built an altar to Yahuwah. So you look at Lot parted in Jubilees here. It grieved him in his heart that his brother's son had parted from him, for he had no children. Lot was taken captive. And Yahuwah said to Abraham, lift up thine eyes from the place where thou art going, northward and southward and westward and eastward. Septuagint says seaward. Northward, southward, eastward, westward. For all land which thou see. Yep, that's the promise to Abraham. Arise, walk through the land and the length of it and the breadth of it. Arise and traverse the land. So this is the Kings. Alright, I think I'm going to stop there. Hopefully that was helpful and a blessing. And praise Yahuwah. I couldn't do any of this without him.